Tonight, check your taps. Americans are buying cheap knockoff faucets online that could leach harmful chemicals and heavy metals into their drinking water. Today, the Consumer Product Safety Commission saying it's recalling 4 Chinese faucet brands sold on Amazon.com due to dangerous lead exposure for young children.
The last thing that touches consumers' water, generally when they fill their glass, is a faucet.
Aaron Boris and his product engineering team at American faucet brand Moen said they noticed cheap, foreign-made faucets for sale on Amazon and paid a third-party lab to test 19 of the top-selling products. The lab found 17 of the 19 faucets exceeded national drinking water standards, 11 for lead and 15 for organic compounds, including carcinogens and a chemical used to treat lice and scabies.
Consumers that use these products and drink this water with these higher level of contaminants are going to be at higher risk for getting things like cancer.
Moen says an estimated 35 million cheap faucets from foreign brands were sold in the U.S. in the last 5 years, citing an industry e-commerce tool. The faucets might seem like a bargain at a price of $30, and they look a lot like those from top American brands that can go for hundreds of dollars. At a Senate subcommittee hearing today, Moen asking the government to close intellectual property loopholes.
When searching for this one Moen valve on e-commerce, we found one real Moen SKU. That same search resulted in 41 counterfeit SKUs. Consumers have no chance of discerning a real product from a fake, nor do the most experienced plumbers.
Counterfeiting is bad for your business, but you're saying it's also bad for consumer health.
Absolutely. They are exposing the American consumer to health and safety concerns.
Amazon has not responded to our request for comment. The companies selling the recalled faucets couldn't immediately be reached. The government saying in its recalls that consumers should immediately stop using those faucets, adding that until they're replaced, people should only drink from them after running the water for 15 seconds.
You need to ban people who can't, meet our safety standards.
Senator Tammy Duckworth has raised safety concerns.
The American consumer is going to know that they need to stop using all of these faucets that they may have bought on these websites.
Throwing cold water on knockoff faucets and warning consumers.
So I have to tell you, Vicki, when I heard you were doing the story, I was like, okay, this is so interesting because it's right? Of all the things that I think about that I need to be worried about in my house, I don't know that faucets is on the list. But now, these are legitimate concerns that you've laid out here. So what are people supposed to do about this?
Right. That was my first question. You're telling me 35 million bogus faucets have been, sold, and then they could potentially be leaching chemicals and lead into my drinking water. What gives? So here's the first thing. If you are one of those people who's doing a DIY, you're renovating whatever, first buy from a reputable brand. You hear me say that when it comes to clothes and all kinds of other products. Well, with faucets, it's very, very important because it's the materials that they are made of. The other thing you can do, this is a little trickier, looking for the certifications, but as we said, even professional plumbers can't always tell. Yes. So here's a red flag. Too good to be true prices. If you are looking at a faucet that looks just like a brand name, but for some reason it's a fraction of the cost, that's usually a sign
so hard,
they're cutting corners somewhere. Finally, if you're not sure, let's say you're renting, you can't replace the faucets. It's expensive. Use a water filter.
That's right.
That can help.
That's right. That's an easy solve. This idea of too good to be true prices, it's hard because you're doing a reno or whatever. You're trying to save every penny you can. And so now of course you're going to be down for the deal. Now you can't skimp on faucets. I was wondering, what is happening? It is the materials that are being used that aren't tested to safety specifications in the U.S. And the other thing you can do, just run the water for 15 seconds to make sure whatever is in there is getting out.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.